So we've looked at this screen a lot, and this gives us our movie files. And then if you change your tabs down here, these are all your trailer files, previews, advertisements. So we got a ton of ads, policies. So some of that's, anti-piracy stuff from Warner Brothers. Sometimes this stuff comes with hard drives and it just gets ingested, and we don't typically do anything with it. Every once in a while, you get a teaser trailer, and it says TSR, so you know it's a teaser. That's an encoding that happens. It has nothing to do with us. It was made that way, and it was given that designation. So when we download it, either from the satellite or from a hard drive, it automatically goes into this teaser folder. So the preview we had for The Whale, the new Aronofsky, it got tagged as a teaser and moved over here.
Okay.
I could not tell you why exactly. And then rating is, you've seen these rating cards before.
Mm-hmm.
Some places program those separately. We do not ever mess with those. And then other is a bunch of GDC training. Here's our landmark logo with our little theme song. Here's like an old file from this must be from the Chicago Jewish Film Festival, so that is like 5 years old. NATO. So we have all of this different bits of information, and we cannot do anything with any of it until we put it into a playlist. The projectors cannot do anything with just the raw files. So how do we put all of these pieces together into a coherent whole, or a coherent list that the projectors know how to read and know how to play? So this is all in manage. We want to create a playlist. So this is when we go into create. Just one click. So now a lot of it looks the same. Mm-hmm. You're still looking at the same features, the same trailers, the same ads, except now we are in the interface where we can start building a playlist. Mm-hmm. So we want to go to SPL.
Okay.
So important distinction, a CPL is any individual unit of information. A trailer, the actual movie itself, all of those little bits of information that we are about to start clicking and dragging and dropping. Each individual unit is a CPL. When you put them all together, you have built an SPL.
Okay.
Kind of similar, but an important distinction. Mm-hmm. So we have here in our SPLs, so here's everything I built last week, starting Friday the 13th. Here's everything that I've already built for today. You can name these things absolutely anything you want. We settled on this a long time ago, this naming convention, so that any manager could come up here and at a glance figure out what each SPL is. Mm-hmm. So this SPL was valid starting Friday the 13th. It's for the movie broker. It is specifically for Screen 2.
Got it.
Now I have a new SPL for broker for Screen 2 starting today, the 20th, and I'll show you why. So so you have a pre-existing SPL, you can just double click on it, and we're just going to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to do anything to it, but we're going to take a look. So each one of these are little black MOS blocks. This number down here tells you how long each of these blocks are. And then up top, it starts giving you the cumulative. So this block of this black MOS is 9 seconds. This one's 9 seconds. This one's 9 seconds. This one's just 1 second. So that's added up to just under 30 seconds. You have to have these little brief blocks or brief CPLs because you have to have some foundation to add these little upside down triangles. These upside down triangles, these are your automated cues that are built into each projector. These automated cues are what make the movies start playing so that you physically do not have to be up here to open the dowser, strike the bulb, turn down the house lights, etc., etc.
Okay.
So this playlist, so this first chunk of black MOS has, so the very first thing it's doing is it's selecting the lens. So this entire SPL, every piece of information in it is flat. So it's a flat feature film. So the first thing it's doing is changing the lens to flat. Then it hits this second cue, projection start. That is going to, the projection start cue, I believe, strikes the bulb. The start show opens the dowser. And then this trailers cue is actually a lighting cue. So when this trailers cue hits, the lights don't go all the way down, they go about half. And now we have the first bit of information that I have added to this playlist, and this is a advertisement.
Yep.
Now you can see where I added myself a cue. I set the fader, the volume, to 5.5. We'll talk about custom cues in a minute. This is, I guess, more a generic overview. So here's our trailers that I added. Our last bit is the Landmark logo, and then here's the actual movie. So this is, and then there's black MOS at the end because everything that automatically turned on at the beginning of the movie now has to automatically turn off. So you've got your end show, so that closes the dowser, turns the bulb off, and then, or I'm sorry, end show, so that hits first and is going to make sure all of your lights are up, and while that is working, it hits this projection end, and that closes the dowser, closes the bulb, or turns off the bulb. So this is what a complete SPL or playlist looks like. Now there's a couple of ways to get to this finished product. I don't know exactly how you will start from scratch. Like when we take whatever little bit out of the server, I don't know what it will or will not leave in here. Like, having a template is not like proprietary information, so I'm assuming some of this will still be in here, but I don't know for sure. So, but anyway, there's a couple of things you can do. So, first of all, I'm going to exit out of this right here because we are not looking to actually change this SPL that we've already used. So I'm going to just exit out of that. This is very much kind of like when you open up a Word document on your computer, you get a Word document from Steve. You don't just start typing and changing his document and then save it. You have to keep that original. So you save as, give it a new name, and then you've made a copy that then you are free to mess around with, leaving the original intact.
Got it.
That's what we want to do with our templates. So you have here a flat and a scope template. I'm going to open up the template so you can, see it, but we're not going to mess with it. We don't want to change the template. So all of these black MOS are built in, and you've got the same cues. So, it's going to select your lens, your projection start, your show start, your trailers cue. So that's our flat template, and then the scope template looks exactly the same, except now the lens is going to automatically change to scope.
Got it.
And then you can also see on your Landmark logo, it has a scope file name. So if you look at the flat template, it's got the flat, the little F, just like on our movie files, just like our trailer files. So a couple of things we can do here. The shortcut, the easiest way to do it is, we've been playing Avatar for a month now, and it's playing in Theater 1, and one ad changes and one trailer changes, but otherwise it stays the same. I can go to my pre-existing Avatar SPL from this previous business week. I can copy it, so copy show, and I'm going to give it a new name. So I'm going to name it Avatar Screen 1, and this is just a test. We're just messing around with this. So now, because I opened and copied it, this is the exact same SPL as January 13th. But we're going to change a couple of things. We're not changing any of the black MOS. We're not touching the template itself. We want that in place. But we got to get rid of the ad. The ad has changed. So I'm going to just click on it once. It's highlighted now. And now we are going to delete the C. Remember, a CPL is just one individual unit. I've highlighted this one unit. I'm now deleting that SPL or the CPL, and it'll say, "Do you want to remove CPL from SPL?" Yes, I do. Okay. Now it's gone. And I want to get rid of the Oppenheimer trailer. So click on it once, delete CPL. Are you sure you want to? Yes, I am. So now I still have a playable SPL, but it's not exactly the way, it's not built exactly the way my home office wants it to be. And they can remote network in and look at it if they want. So I want to make sure I do it correctly. So I know from this email that I have to show this new Apple ad. So, hey, look at that. Apple shrink pre whatever. I don't know what the abbreviation means. But I've got this Apple ad, and I've got a flat version of it, and I've got a scope version of it. I know that Avatar is scoped because if I hover, it shows up right there in the file name. All I'm going to do is click on it once. So it's highlighted. Now I click and drag. Once I drag it down here, this little purple fuchsia line shows you exactly where that is going to drop. So do you want it to show before your previews, in between previews? I want it to show after the previews, but before the Landmark logo. And now it appears. Sorry, who was blowing me up? So this right here is a entirely playable SPL. So we are going to save it It only gives you one option. You can only save it to the server.
Great.
So you select it, hit OK. It saves successfully. Fantastic. So now we are done creating. You'll notice if you right, so you can look at all the SPLs on the server, but if you look, if you highlight and then try to right click, it doesn't let you do anything with it because we're still in create. If we want to do anything with this content, we have to go back to manage. Now we're back in manage. Now we go to SPL, which again looks pretty similar. We find our avatar screen 1 test. Now when I right click, it gives me options. I don't want to delete it, I want to send it. We are going to send it. I mean, you could send it to every screen if you wanted to. So the thing about sending an SPL is, so because we looked earlier, I know that Avatar, like the movie file itself is already living on projectors 1, 2, and 3. It has never been sent to projectors 4 and 5. So I could send this SPL right now to projectors 4 and 5. And the thing about sending an SPL is the computer, the projector you're sending it to will read that SPL, and it knows in any unit of information on that playlist that is not already on that projector, it will automatically send with that SPL.
Okay.
But then you're back to, it takes an hour to send a huge movie file to a projector. So if you're trying to send your playlist with Avatar to screen 4, and it's never played in screen 4 before, and you're trying to send it at 1:47, and your first show is at 2 o'clock, it's not sending. You're not playing that 2 o'clock show.
Got it.
That's a lost show. There's no way to make it play. But because the movie's already on screen 1, we can send it, and it is going to be pretty much instantaneous. One thing about SPLs, when you create a new one, you are when you're adding we just ingested trailers from the satellite. We're adding these new trailers to our new SPLs for today. When you go to send that SPL, if you are sending a bunch of new trailers to a projector that you've never sent those trailers to before, it'll take it just a couple of minutes. Trailer files are small, but it's certainly not instantaneous. Here's another interesting little tidbit here. So, let's see. Let's say I'm messing around with SPLs and I'm like, I made a mistake on my Corsage SPL. I'm going to go to delete it, but I accidentally select the wrong SPL without realizing it. I just go to delete it. And I'm like, yeah, let's delete it. And I hit OK. So, unable to delete because this specific SPL is currently loaded. So, if you come look at the projector, that SPL is loaded on the screen, ready for us to press play.
Got it.
That is a nice little fail-safe where if you've got a Showtime loaded, you can't accidentally delete it.
Okay.
It will give you that little error message. Now, because I don't want the SPLs from last week. I want the ones that I just made today. It's a new show week. I've got new advertisements that we're obligated to play. So I click on that little click on this little notebook page to get to the secondary interface. And so right now, broker January 13th is loaded because that played this past week. I go to my drop-down list. I want the new SPL that I made today. That's why I put the dates on them, so there's no confusing which is which. I'm going to select it. So now, January 20th, I will load that show to play. And now, 1/20/23 broker. So now, the new current week is loaded. I can go over to here, and because now January 13th is no longer loaded, now I can delete, and it's just gone. Now it doesn't care because it wasn't loaded. Now I typically I make the current week's SPLs, send them, and you can see, so I'm, broker, and if you click on it, you can make sure that it's sent. So I know that this SPL is in fact loaded on screen 4, or sent to screen 4. Haven't loaded it yet. I will then walk around to each projector and load the new current week, and then I will come back and delete out the old out-of-date week.
Got it.
That is useful for scheduling, which I will show you scheduling right now as soon as we load. Oh, here's our broker movie that we messed with earlier, and it shows you finished, 100% loaded. We need to change our interface here, so we're going to go back to control panel, which is this page, and then back to our SMS. So this is what we were looking at earlier. Notebook page, drop down, and then here. So here's our avatar screen 1 test that we messed around with. And then here's my avatar and auto that I actually made that are going to show this weekend. I don't remember what plays first in here. I believe it is auto. Doesn't really matter because when we make the scheduler, it's going to automate it for us. So I selected that, and now I just want to load show to play. So that's going to clear out the old 13th and turn it into the 20th.
Got it.
Which is what we want. Let's see, we already did broker. Let's do number 3. You do this one.
Okay, so I am going to go to my notebook page.
Yep.
I am going to go to our show, and then which film is going to be in this?
Just one that's today's date. Doesn't matter which.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Back. So we'll do auto, and then load show to play.
Yep.
113 to 120.
Beautiful.
And there's
You got
loaded.
it. You got it, my man.
Woo.
Excellent.
That's it. I'm done.
I work here. You don't have to. I can do these real quick. You don't have to. This is an extra step that if you choose not to do, it is definitely not required. I have messed up the scheduler enough times that 13th to the 20th. Beautiful. Banshee. Beautiful. Okay. I've just messed up the scheduler enough times that this is me taking an extra, not even 1 minute, to reduce the possibility of my own human error.
Measure twice, cut once.
Sure, exactly. So now, because the only thing loaded on all the screens are our new January 20th SPLs, I am going to So click once to highlight, and then I don't want to accidentally do a 20th, of course, but just all the 113s. So hold down my shift, click again. Now right click, delete. It'll just say multiple because it understands we're deleting multiple things off of projectors. That's fine. Select all. Okay. Now, SPLs, that is not deleting any content off of any projectors. Literally all that's deleting is that one template, and that's it. The content is all still there. I want that template gone though, because now I am going to go to my scheduler, which is, so here's our monitoring, which we've looked at, serial numbers and stuff. This little guy right here is our scheduler. So it's always going to default to the last date that you looked at it. So it looks like I was poking around on it on the 17th. If I click on today, there's nothing there because we haven't done anything yet. So you want your schedule, whatever that schedule is, you want that handy, and you are going to click on New. And now it gives you this Create a New Schedule interface. And it's, you take it one screen at a time. So the reason we make specific SPLs for specific projectors instead of just sending everything everywhere is that now the only thing that's on projector 1 are the movies that are actually playing on it. So now when we go to screen 2, the only thing on screen 2 is the movie that's actually playing on it. And then select a time. So it's going to default to today's date. I know that our schedule is the same today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So I don't need to come sit in here and do this 3 days in a row. I can just set recurrence rule. So I'm going to click on that, which opens up more info down here. So whatever schedule I'm about to add for today, the 20th, I want to repeat on the next 2 consecutive days. And then it tells you right there, it's going, whatever I do right now is going to affect today the 20th, and then it will repeat on Saturday and Sunday, which is exactly what we want. So that's in there. All of our information is selected. Now it's just a matter of actually entering it. So I'm going to start with screen 1, and I just go down my list. So screen 1, I have Avatar at 6:50 p.m. You got to do it in military time, which is obnoxious. So 6:50 is 1850, and then you don't want to close because we don't want to get rid of this little interface box. We just want to add. And it's thinking. There we go. It's adding. And now I want, because I also have I've got a show of Auto and a show of Avatar in there. So I have to change my SPL naturally. And then Auto is at 4 o'clock in military, so that gets us 16. And there we go. The computer and the projectors will only do what you tell them to do. So if I am not paying attention, or if I'm just in a hurry and I'm screwing around, and I am supposed to have a show of Auto and then a show of Avatar, and I just schedule Auto twice, people who come in for the 6:50 Avatar and bought tickets for the 6:50 Avatar, when the projector turns on and starts at 6:50, it will start playing Man Called Auto.
Okay.
There's no way to override that if you schedule the wrong thing. So it's just worth double checking is all. Now, if you're open all day and you've got 5 rounds of shows, you're just going to do this 5 times. We've only got the 2 rounds, so it goes by pretty quick. So here's screen 2, broker. That's the only thing that plays in screen 2, so that's pretty simple. And it's at 4:30, add, and then plays again at 7:30, add. They are both in there now. Excellent. Now to screen 3, and then boom, here's Avatar. Let's see, Avatar plays at 3:50, so is that 15:50? And then in the evening is Otto. That's at 7:50, so is that 19? Oh no, I almost messed that up big time. There we go. And screen 4. The only thing playing in screen 4 is Corsage, so I don't have to select any additional SPL. It's just Corsage at 4:20, add, and then Corsage again at 7:15, add. And then last but not least, Theater 5. We've got Banshees at 3:45, so that's 15:45. And then I really want to see Saint Omer. It looks amazing. All right. That's it. So we can get rid of this. We're just going to close out of that interface. So we are looking at today. I will click through and just take a peek at tomorrow, and then click through, take a look at Sunday. Make sure that these are all solid blue. Great. And then I will just do a quick little, so auto is at 4, Avatar is at 6:50, Broker's at 4:30, at 7:30, 3:50, 7:50, 4:20, 7:15, 3:45, 7. All right. So I actually did this last week. I've scheduled Banshees twice instead of Banshees and Saint Omer. Because I took 10 seconds to just double check. I was like, oh crap, I scheduled Banshees twice. So I had to get rid of the 7 o'clock Banshees to instead make it a 7 o'clock Saint Omer. To do that, I go up to remove, select which screen. So I want to remove something from Theater 5, and then you just pick the show time that you want to remove. I don't want to remove them right now because I want it to play then, but if, I messed up the Banshees, or I messed up Saint Omer on Friday night, I need to get rid of, you would select that, click OK, and it's pretty much instantaneous, and then that little blue square would just go away, and it would be blank, and then you just go back into new and go through, find what you need to schedule correctly and schedule it correctly.
Got it.
There's no way so if there's something wrong with the scheduler, there's no way to remove anything from the scheduler without coming in here and going to remove.
Great. And now that the playlist is made,
Yep.
Is that already been sent to the projectors via the server? Right. So it will do
so
all that.
These are connected. So now, if you come, we looked at it a little while ago. It might have faded from memory already because it's been a lot of me talking at you. If we go to scheduler, before that top was totally blank. Now it's got these little blue Lego fellas, and it defaults to today's date, but you can look at tomorrow. Oh, that changed the month. We don't want to change the month. There we go. Got a highlight in the middle. Now it'll just, so that's tomorrow. That's Sunday. Now Monday, we're not playing anything on Monday, so it goes back to blank. But for our weekend purposes, and you can, like, you're not going to hurt anything. You can click on them and it'll tell you. So if I click on this one, it confirms that, yes, the first show that will start at 4 o'clock is Man Called Otto. The second show that starts at 6:50 this evening is Avatar. And when you want to get out of this, you just go back and it'll take you back to that screen.